Hello, this is Bobby from DigitalOcean. This is the 14th video in the Building and Launching a Real Django website series. If you've been following along, you'll know that the last video I got a good stopping point when configuring the server, which is a DigitalOcean droplet. We're in this tutorial, what we're using is Postgres, GUnicorn, Nginx on a Ubuntu server. So we're now got to the stage where we need to start installing the the GUnicorn libraries and using pip, and we'll also we'll bring them in using the Ubuntu repository as well. We need to pip install a few other packages as well because we're going to be using an S3 bucket, so we need to use Django storages and a couple other packages, the links to which are all in the description below. So let me crack on. We don't want that, we want, here we go. So if I've got my virtual environment fired up already, so we'll do pip install. We need to install Bot03, Bot Core, GUnicorn, S3 transfer and Django storages. They're all libraries that are required for this part of the project. There we go, just installing all of those, and then when that's done, we'll use sudo apt install GUnicorn. I think we've already got it on this server. Yeah, there we go, I've already got it. We need to deactivate our virtual environment at this stage. And now what we need to do is need to start configuring something called a GUnicorn socket. I can't really give you a good description of what all of this means. That's not really my forte, but just follow along the instructions and the link to the tutorial online, and you know, go figure it out for yourselves. It's absolutely fine. Like I say, this is not really my bag, the sockets and the services on GUnicorn, but we do need to configure them to get the website up and running well. So just follow these commands. So we'll have to do the nano, so yeah, etc system D, and then we've got system / and we'll call this did demo.socket. That's the name of the socket. And this will open up a GNU Nano. And what we need to do, it's paramount that these are coded in the right way. So I'm going to copy it across from my notes here and just change everything with an @ symbol. And this is did demo. So this is the socket. You've got to press Control Save, Control X to exit that. And we now need to configure the service. So we'll go did demo dot, and this is service. It's paramount that I don't have any typos in this. Okay, that's the service. We now need to add some text to that. So we need to start off with a unit. And again, I've got some little @ symbols we need to change. So we've got requires the socket that we just done, which is did demo. And then if you look here, you can't use your mouse, so you've got to go to it. So obviously the names of these will change a little bit depending on how you set it up. I doubt that you're going to be calling your directory Bobby, but did demo. I always call my project name dir, so that's the directory, and the environment is project name env. So that way, when it comes to just copying and pasting, you can guarantee that you're not going to have any problems. Isn't it mapping and everything else? So we then want to go to the socket here. Did demo. And then we've got the application itself, which is called did demo. That's it, Control S, Control X. That's that. We now need to enable the socket. The way we do that is this command. I will make the writing much bigger when you actually see this video. So sudo systemctl start socket, so it's did demo. And then we need to enable that socket. So we just started it. Now I need to enable it. So it's a similar command. Did demo, and that's enable. Create a system name. Brilliant. That's exactly what we wanted to see. We now need to curl. I don't think this will work, as in normally what you do at this point, if you do this command, which is the curl UNIX socket run, that should then show you a whole bunch of HTML, which is a brilliant sign. But I haven't added our IP address to the allowed hosts in the project, so it might not work. So, it worked. There you go. There's a load of HTML on the screen, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So that means that we've done everything up to this point. It's bang on. So we now need to configure the sites available. So, or we need to configure Nginx, should I say? So sudo nano, and this would be did demo. That opens up another nano, and then we need to copy in this piece of code. And I think on the tutorial online, you don't get a lot of this proxy params and proxy content timeouts. I had a few issues when I first started launching websites online, and you need those lines of code in there because else you have all sorts of server issues. So server name, this is the IP address currently. So on this one, I'm going to have fun blowing all of this out. There we go. We will change that to our two website addresses, so digcoding.com and www.digcoding.com a little bit later, but we use the server for now. Demo dir, and then we got the socket, which is the GUnicorn socket we configured a moment ago, and that is did demo. And Control S, Control X, brilliant. Now we need to link the site, so this is the command for that. If you are watching this and you do want a step-by-step kind of walkthrough of what I'm doing here, I'm quite happy to add that into maybe my GitHub. Just let me know in the comments, and if nobody adds that comment, then I just won't bother. But if not, you can follow it along. There we go, we've linked that. We want to restart Nginx. We want to delete our 8000 in our firewall, and then we want to add the full package of Nginx into our firewall. There we go, and we should now be able to visit the website if we just visit the IP address, but we won't do that yet. We don't need to do that. What we'll do is, actually, I'm just looking at my notes. We've actually configured this quite well, so we don't need to go through the next batch of steps. What we actually need to do is go back into the sites available file and add. Actually, we'll do a service restart first. Service did demo restart. Or restart. And we'll open up another GUnano. Great, so where we added the server name a minute ago, we didn't actually need that. Because we've added our domain to the allowed hosts, we don't need to do that step. So we can actually go did demo.com and www.diddemo.com. We can delete out that server name or the IP address and save and exit. Then we need to restart Nginx, which is sudo, I'm going to try and type this, sudo system ctl restart Nginx. Oh, there you go. Okay, so we've restarted everything, restarted Nginx. We should now hopefully be able to visit our site using HTTP, because we haven't secured an SSL certificate yet. So if we open up the browser and we go to HTTP and we'll go to did demo momentoftruth.com. Brilliant. Okay, that is exactly what I wanted to see. Always, when you're doing these tutorials, it can work perfectly when you haven't got somebody watching you, in this case, a camera. And I can do it 101 times in a row and it will be perfect. And the one time you've got the video on, it all goes belly up and you end up looking like a bit of a plonker. But look, we've just gone through those commands. I've copied and pasted them across to save the typos, and it's obviously made a difference, right? So if you do want to see the step-by-steps, let me know and I'll ping them across. Or I'll add them in a GitHub and I'll add the link to the description. So there we go. So we've got the Did Demo website up and running, but we haven't got the SSL certificate. So let's do that. Mobile extern. So let's copy across the command again. This one is snap install certbot. That has changed. The command was different about 2 months ago. And when I was playing around with this last week, I found that the command really put me in a bit of a muddle. So snap install certbot classic. It's already installed on my machine, but that is the command that you'll need if you're using the same stack as what I've got. We then want to, where's my command? So it is, I'll type this one just for giggles, sudo certbot, and then it's -nginx, then it's -d, and then it's diddemo.com, -d, then it's www.diddemo.com. Will it work? It's doing something. There you go. And what that's doing, that's adding some information to, I think it's either the socket or the GUnicorn socket or the service. Can't remember which. It might even be the site's available, but we'll have a look at that in a second. Like I say, this isn't really my bag doing the server configuration, but there we go. Right, we've got the SSL certificate. Now we want to do is we want to run a bit of code that does a dry run. This renews the certificate automatically. So sudo certbot renew, and it's --dry, and it's run. Oh, it's dash run. There we go. You can see I've already got the did coding SSL, which I did through this same server. So that's on there, and it goes through the dry run of all of them that I've got on there, which is didcoding.com and diddemo.com. So it shouldn't take more than a couple of seconds to get that done. And yeah, the next steps. So the next steps is to set up spaces, some API keys, and start serving up some static files using their spaces, which is actually an Amazon S3 bucket. But if we now go to https://diddemo.com, we've got the SSL certificate. Brilliant. So that is all done. The only trouble is the static files. So our logo, the image that you're looking at on the screen here, it's all coming from the server. So it's not coming from a separate server. So we might have run into some issues. So we need to set that up. We also need to set up a super user and need to set up the admin page for TOTP. So let's do that quickly. Mobile extern, right, so I need to fire up the virtual environment. So source did demo env bin activate, and we need to python manage.py create super user. Create super user, and you remember we've got the two databases now, so we now need to tell it what database to do it in. So it's database equals user db. There we go. Didcoding.com. Don't need that. Right, we've got a super user. Brilliant. We can now go to, let's go to the Django admin page. Get myself signed in. Right, yeah. So we've got a few CSS issues. These are all to do with static files. Don't worry about it. It looks ugly at the minute, but by the time we get the S3 bucket or the spaces set up, this will look fantastic. So we want Bobby at didcoding.com. New password. login, great. We want a TOTP device, and we want to add a TOTP device. Like I say, this looks ugly, guys. This is, it's not going to let me. Right, okay, so I need to have some of the, I'm going to need to have some of the CSS in there, because it's not like a drop-down list or anything. You actually need to click something, as an icon that looks like it's interjected using CSS. So there's no links there, is there? No, there's not. So we'll have to set up the TOTP device in a second once we've set up the static files. It's not a problem. So that's right. We need to go to DigitalOcean, and we've already signed in. So what we want to do is we create spaces. There we go, spaces. And we're going to have this in Amsterdam. No, we're going to have this in Frankfurt. We're going to enable CDN. So we want to add a new certificate. We want did demo. And scroll to the bottom. You want to tick this, and you can actually choose what you want your subdomain to be that serves up the static files via a CDN. And we're going to call this static. Name of the certificate can be static did demo, doesn't really matter. Generate certificate. Now we've got static.diddemo.com. We'll be using that URL when we're playing around with the settings.py file. So there we go, the certificate is now generated. We will restrict files and name of file listing. Keep it as is for now. Unique name. So it can be open did demo spaces. Create space. Okay, spaces was created. That's brilliant. It's exactly what I need. Okay, the next step is to create an API. So we need an API key so that we can actually access this new spaces that we just created, which is equivalent of an S3 bucket, remember. So on the left hand side, you want to click API, scroll to the bottom, generate new key, and we'll call this did demo. Tick yes, and then it comes with two keys. What you need to do, you want to copy them, and then we want to go into our MobileX term, open up our ini file. So Bobby, we're going to go did demo directory, and we're going to go settings ini, and this will all be blurred, and we want to call this the AWS access key ID. The next one in here, we want AWS secret access key, and that is the other one. You want to copy these before doing anything and updating the web page, because you'll lose them and you need to create them all over again. So let's paste that back in there, save that, and we can close that down now. Yes. So we've now got API keys, which is great. And what do we then need to do? So we need to make sure that we've got storages installed in our installed apps. Remember, we installed using pip the Django storages. We now need to go into settings.py and make sure that storages, which it currently is not, storages. That needs to be in our installed apps. So save. And right, we need to go back into DigitalOcean and go back into our spaces. We want to open up the open did demo spaces. Now we want to go into our settings, and we want to add some cause configuration settings. So add, and we want https diddemo.com. Want to have it as get add header, not yet. So that's all fine. And you want to add another one for https www.diddemo.com. Save. Did demo. Yep, there we go. They're the core settings, storages. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do is I am going to open up another project, which is my DigitalOcean project, and I'm going to, no I'm not, I'm going to just copy across all of the static settings that we now need. I'm just trying to find them here. There we go. Okay, copy. And what we'll do is we go into mobile Xterm and we'll go into the settings, the settings file. We scroll down here now. Okay, so the variables we've got in the settings.py file are still the same as what they were in our development server. So I've just copied across some settings from DigitalOcean. So what we've got here is the static DIRs file stays the same. We've got the AWS access key, which is in the config INI file, same with the secret key that we just got from DigitalOcean, but the storage bucket name, if you remember, we called that did demo. It was Frankfurt, so https:/FRA1, that is right, yeah. So if you've got the Amsterdam one, that would be AMS1 and so on and so forth. Just be careful, make sure that you get the endpoint correct. So it's DigitalOcean spaces, static, we called this static did demo. Cache control, that's fine. And we've got layout location, did demo public read. We've got static file storage, default. Okay, so they are all of the settings that we need to do this. So we'll save that now. And there we have it. Yeah, I think that's it. So what we need to do now is we need to collect the statics. So we've already got the virtual environment up and running. So pip, no it isn't, it's Python, manage.py collect static. And we'll put yes. Okay, the fact that's taken a second to do that would suggest that we've done that right. So if I go over to DigitalOcean quickly and just refresh my screen and go back into files, this is the did demo spaces. Right, okay, it's done something which is great. So that collect static actually did work. It's brought in the admin CSS, which is great. So when you do the collect static, our static file that we've got in our directory has the bits that we've created, but when you use Django, Django has its built-in admin CSS files as well, so it picks those up and it sticks it all into the same place, which is fantastic. So that's that. Mobile Xterm, is that finished? So 137 static files copied across, which is great. So if I wonder if I go into this now and refresh it, I'm using the wrong website. diddemo.com/Django admin. Okay, so I managed to get the CSS working. So what it is, we change the settings file, and every time you change the settings file, for it to trigger, you need to restart GUnicorn or restart your socket in GUnicorn, which I've just done, which is service did demo restart, and it all should fire up. So if I now go into Django admin, there you go. Now it's looking like what we want it to look like. Wonderful. Now we'll set up a TOTP device. I've done this about 4 or 5 times in this project already. So add a device, select the user that we've just created, call it Bobby, and then save. And on my phone, I should just be able to take a photo of the QR code. There we go. Log out. Go into our normal admin page. And now sign in using one-time password. And in this case it's 950-744. This one-time password starts every 30 seconds. What have I done? There we go. Brilliant. That works. So what I will do, I will now, which this was what I thought was the problem. I actually thought in our URLs file that the Django admin had been commented out. I'm actually going to comment it out now so that you can't access the admin page without a one-time password. Again, save. If you go into Mobile X Terminal and restart, yeah, we'll restart the demo, and that should now all work. So if we go back into a browser and try to access Django admin, say page not found, which is what we want. But the reason we're seeing this ugly page now is because what we haven't done is we haven't changed a debug to false, which we'll have to do that now. And then what we need to do is we need to start the maintenance mode. So we'll go ahead and do that. So go back into settings.py, go back to debug, false, save. We want to then restart the server. And if we now, there we go, page not found, which is the 404 error handling that we did earlier on in this tutorial. So now what I want to do as a super user, I want to trigger the maintenance mode. So I should still be, right, so I'm still signed in as a super user. So technically I should be able to visit maintenance -mode /on. That internal server error, right, okay. Interesting. Okay, let's figure out what's going on here, because that should be showing the coming soon page. So we'll go back to settings, true, save. So this is just a little bit of jiggery pokery that we need to do just to make things work properly. Permission error at maintenance mode on. Okay. So it's permission denied. Interesting. So according to this, I have not got the permission to do that. So, okay, the maintenance mode is working. It's certainly working in development. I will have a little jiggery pokery and see if I can get it working in production. It seems to be that it's not picking up that I, as a super user, am the person who's using the maintenance mode option, which it should do. But the good thing is, rather than showing this page here, which is a Django straight out the box error page, so it allows you to debug, when debug is false, it's showing our 500 internal server error page, which is working, which is promising in itself. So I'm going to go back into here and change it to false. Save that. Restart my server. And I think that's that. Okay, let me just there we go. So it's saying internal server error. So it's saying, okay, whoever's trying to turn maintenance mode on, they're not allowed to. You've got permission denied. But we'll have a look at that. I'll work out what's caused it, and hopefully in the next tutorial I'll be able to let you know what actually happened and what we need to do to change it. But other than that, we're all good. I think we need to change, yeah, we need to change something in the using the nano. So we need to change root to alias, but other than that, we're all good. So we'll go did demo, this is a command, and if you notice all of this information here that you can see, this was added with our SSL certificate, but where it says root, you now need to say alias, Control S, Control X, and that is it. Our website is live. I do apologise, this video has been a bit clunky, so was the last one. This isn't my bag, you know, configuring servers, yeah, I can do it. It's not something that I've done a million times. You know, I'm well into the double figures, but You know, this isn't something I do on a daily basis, so it is a bit clunky. The commands, I'm using the copy and paste method rather than typing them out manually. But look, if you go through the last 2 videos, including this one and the one before this, go through each individual step, you will get your website on a server and it'll be for the world to see, which is exactly what we wanted. So we can bookend this now and say, right, the website is now live. The next video will be almost part 2, and it will be taking that website and actually making it look sexy. You know, making it look appealing to users and customers, and then we'll start adding some SEO. We'll change the app, so we've got some user account stuff on there. We've got 101 things that we're going to start doing to the website to make it fantastic. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.